Okay, good afternoon. Today's lesson is Aseret hadibrot, dibra number 9, the ninth commandment. So before we get started, this shiur is for refuah shlema to Nahid Sarah Bat Iran, Avraham ben Chana, and Rafael Chaim Meir ben Sima Chasha, and for the safety of our soldiers in Jenin and everywhere else in Israel, and anyone who lives in Eretz Israel. Today is the Hilula of Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. There are very few tzaddikim that the word Kadosh, which means saint, is attached to the names. However, the Orach Chaim is called the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. Or HaChaim is the name of his sefer that he wrote, the book that he wrote. May his zechut protect us all and bring yeshuot, nechamot, bracha, hatzlacha, beriut, shalom, simcha, chokhmat chaim, nachat, and zivugim. May this shiur be a zechut for all singles to meet their true partner in life and build a bait ne'eman be'Yisrael. So, dibra number 9, commandment number 9, lo ta'aneh bereacha ed sheker. Do not bear false witness, do not speak against your neighbor as a false witness. We are commanded not to submit false testimony. This mitzvah is a prohibition, and it is repeated in Sefer Devarim, just like the rest of the 10 Commandments, with a different expression. In Sefer Devarim it says Ed Shav instead of Ed Sheker. Ed Sheker means false witness. Ed Shav means a witness in vain. So the Ramban explained Ed Shav, being a witness in vain, that it means that it's bearing someone who is bearing falsely against another person, even if not in court, even if it has no legal consequences. Then there's a question. Why something that has no legal consequences should be considered testimony? So Rabbi Chaim Horowitz, who wrote the Sefer Mincha Chadasha, explains that the Ramban, he explains what the Ramban explanation, and he says like this. The Ramban refers to a case where, for example, Reuven promised to Shimon a small amount of money for whatever reason. Something was going on between them as a sign of hakarat tov, as a gratitude. So Reuven said that he would give to Shimon a small gift, right? But then, what would happen if Reuven would change his mind? If he would change his mind, it would really show a lack of honesty, integrity on the part of Reuven. Why? Because Shimon now is expected to receive this money, right? Since it was a small amount, so he said he will most probably give me this amount. If it was like, if Reuven would have said, you know what, I'll give you $1 million, Shimon would not have taken that seriously. But since Reuven had promised a small amount, so said a small amount, that's something that is acceptable. Sure, yes, he would definitely give it to me. And so Shimon really relied on that gift, right? By changing his word, Reuven now, he's breaking his word. By changing his mind, he's breaking his word. And Shimon could not take Reuven to the Beit Din, It wouldn't stand in court, right? But the testimony of Shimon puts a moral obligation on Reuven. For what? To keep his word. So presenting such testimony falsely, right? Let's say that Reuven never promised anything to Shimon, but Shimon says, yes, he did, right? So this testimony is false, it's not true. And that is Ed Shav, bearing testimony in vain, for nothing against a fellow man. It is in vain because it is both untrue and ineffective. The purpose, like the shoresh of this mitzvah, is obvious. The lie is naturally unacceptable and very much disliked to the eye of every person. Nobody likes liars. Nobody likes a lie. Nobody likes to be lied to. And it is contrary to the ways of Hashem. Hashem is emet. Bereshit bara Elokim. If we take each letter, the last letter of each word, Bereshit Taf, bara Aleph, Elokim Mem. We put them together, we get the word emet. Because Hashem is emet. Hashem doesn't like anything that has to do with cheating or lying. And even more, it is also the only basis of a truthful testimony that the world can exist. The world can exist only based on what? On emet, on testimony that is right, testimony that is truth, not right, sorry, but truth. The world can exist as all disputes between human beings. There will always be disputes, right? They are ineffective when people testify, right, regarding their dispute, and accordingly, they give false testimony. And for that is a cause for the destruction of society. It destroys society. Then what happens? That people do not believe in the court anymore because the court, they are corrupt, right? And in order for society to flourish, to grow, it is necessary that there be an effective court system to which people can turn to for settling their disputes. Hashem warns us not to associate or become involved with those who testify falsely. This sin, Hashem Yishmor, can bring famine, a ra'av, into the world. A person is only allowed to testify about what he saw with his own eyes, or that he was there, he saw, and he heard. It cannot be that someone told him and that's his testimony. That won't work. Has to be that he heard, he was there in person when whatever happened, and so he was there, he saw, and he heard. That's the only time that a person can testify. Even Chachamim tell us, let's say that there is two people talking, and someone else who is behind in another room, very close, and he can hear every word that is being said. That's not good enough. Okay, the Sefer HaChinuch explained there are different types of testimony. There is the monetary cases, deals with money, and testimony regarding capital cases, right? And when someone has got to be put to death. And this mitzvah of the cases of bearing testimony in cases of money or capital cases, only men this mitzvah not to testify falsely is only for men, not for women. Okay? Why? Why not for women? Because in these cases, when it comes to money and comes to capital cases, the bedin is very, very, very tough. And they put a lot of pressure, and they ask and they ask and they ask this way and that way and repeat. And then suddenly there's a question that has nothing to do with the case, just to see how much, whether this person is actually telling the truth. It is the responsibility of the bedin to question the witnesses, and they do so intensely, and they do it in a way that the person can become intimidated in the courtroom atmosphere, and also that all the litigants are aggressive, and the whole atmosphere here can bring a woman to break down. So because of that, Chachamim said women should not really be accepted as witnesses. However, women are accepted as witnesses when it comes to nida, the halachot of nida, right? When the woman says, okay, this is what I saw, and kashrut, regarding kashrut and food, whether it's kosher or not, or if a man died and his wife wants to remarry. So may Hashem help us to stay away from bearing false witnesses and always be truthful. Have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.